Hello again, welcome to the second video for this intro assignment. So we've had a chance to select our text and to expand or grow our selection. Now it's time to fill in this selection with basically a white color. So the first thing we need to do is make sure that our text border is now active, the layer that changes can be made to. And if you find it hard to do, we can actually hide this text. So we're just going to see these little dancing ants, and this is what's active right now. This selection and this layer text border. So what we're going to do is use the paint bucket fill tool, this option right here, and we're going to use a white color. So white on any spectrum that you're in, if you go to all the way to the bottom right hand corner, FFFFFFF, that's white. So we press OK, and we're going to use our paint fill tool anywhere inside of this selected option. So pick somewhere that you can see, we're going to fill it with white. But Mr. Morton, that doesn't look that cool. Well, when we click back on our eye for our graphic text, it reappears. What we have is now a white border. If you want to see it a little bit better, we'll go up to Select, select None, and now we've got it as a text with a really tight border that fits around perfectly because of our two layers that we've got. And again, just if you wanted to see the design elements, we can remove the background to see the text. We can remove that top layer to see just the background, or we could see the top layer without the white background. The next step that we're going to do, or the next layer that we're going to incorporate, is a nice drop shadow. So in order to get this text to look like it's sort of coming off of the screen, or to give it the illusion of depth, we're going to create a shadow. So the first thing we want to do is make sure that our text border is selected. We want to apply the shadow to this layer. We're going to go to Tools. My apologies. We're going to go to Filters, Light and Shadow, and we're going to go to Drop Shadow. So what we have is a dialog box that appears. You can click on it. You can leave it as the default, or you can play around to sort of see how it changes it. But basically, we've got how much are we offsetting, how much is it going to be off to the side, either on our X, so left to right, or on our Y, up and down. And we've also got our radius. How big should this be? How blurry should it be? The one thing you do need to be aware of is you have to unselect this Allow Resizing. So you can play around with this. I'm going to use the default to show you what it looks like. Once you're finished, you can press OK. It may take a few minutes. But now what we have is a drop shadow in the background that's offset, so it's a little bit to the right in this case, and it gives the illusion that this text is somehow floating off of the screen. If you'll also notice, it's created a new layer for us. So if we want to see what our text looked without the drop shadow, we could also unselect the icon here. So at this point, our image is actually done. This is going to be our first image of our multiple series that we do in graphic design here, just to get you familiar. But again, we have our toolbox that we use to access our tools. We had our menu options for some of the different filters that we used. In this instance, we used a light and a shadow filter for the drop shadow here. And we've got our layers palette that shows us each workable layer. And as long as it's selected, we can make changes to it. If we ever need to hide an element, we can select the eye. And the other feature that we've learned about is how, if we need to make our own new layer, how to access it. So the last step that I'd like you to do when you're at this point and you're ready to save is to get me, Mr. Morin, to come over and show you how to save it. Unfortunately, I have a little bit newer version of GIMP. I had to download the most recent one. Your guys' is a little bit older. All these features still work. However, when you go to save this, the default document type is XCF, which is associated specifically with GIMP. You actually want to go to Select File Type and to find either PNG or JPEG, and JPEG is the most common one, and as we go through and learn about different file types, we'll see the differences between the two. But it's really important that you save it as anything other than XCF, because if you do, the only program that can read that file is GIMP, and we want to create images that can work across multiple platforms. So when you're ready to save this document, we're going to call it GIMP Intro. And if you need Mr. Moore to show you how to change this file extension, it's Select File Type, but I can come around and get you to save it as well.